Good evening. I always see weird stuff in the sky out here. What the heck is all that? Alright. I'm outside, it's dark. I had to come outside because my grandkids, they're out of school next week, so I'm going to be watching them in their sleep. And those kids are brutal. I don't want to wake them up. Nope. So I'm going to sit out here on the back of my truck. There's a full moon. And I don't know what that green thing is. We're going to sit out here and talk about some stuff that either I missed it. Hang on, my truck's going to ding for a second. I don't know what's wrong with it. Every time you open the door, whether the key's in it, whether the lights are on, don't matter. It dings. Okay. I found out some very interesting things in the Summer Wells case. I haven't reported on Summer Wells case in a while because, frankly, there's just nothing to report. But, now this information may be breaking news for only me. But I don't remember ever seeing it. But we'll see. Okay, everything in this video is my opinion. And if it's fact, I will tell you fact. But just keep in mind that most of it's my opinion. Also, I have done research. And I will provide receipts when I do state something as fact. Okay. So, I was looking up, well, another channel. I think it's Nana's Angels, something like that. Anyway, she used a video I did, it's been a long time ago, on a Clyda Trent interview. And Clyda Trent is the woman who Don's mother, Karen, left the house to with some kind of instruction. Here's my take on that. What I think happened was that she left some things that Don had to do or some stipulations he had to meet before he could get the house. And I think one of those was getting married. Now, Karen was religious, but she was not a Seventh-day Adventist. She was a Mormon. And I think she was a fundamental Mormon, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because Dawn's talked about her storing all that food in those containers, in those barrels. And that's what fundamentalist Mormons do. I know this because at my job a long time ago, I let a coworker borrow my truck because she needed to pull a trailer. Now, I didn't ask her what she was pulling on the trailer. She just asked if she could borrow my truck. I said, yes. So she came and got the truck, and she didn't come back when she said she was supposed to. And I was freaking out because it wasn't really my truck. It was my first husband's truck. And so I called this, I knew what town she was going to pick up whatever she was picking up. I called the sheriff's department and said, has there been a wreck with a Chevy Blazer? And he said, yes. Oh my God, I about died. But anyway, her insurance covered it. But what she was using my truck for was to haul back these huge sacks of like flour and rice, and because Mormons, they stockpile food. I don't know why, but they just do. So she had she had a trailer. She loaded the trailer. She put all the food down on the end, and she didn't even the weight out. And the trailer started fishtailing, and she ended up flipping my Blazer. But anyway, or my husband's. He was not happy about that. Anywho, let's get to the Summer Wells information. Okay, Karen was a Mormon. And don't you wonder why all these people are always going back to Utah? You know, everybody's got ties to Utah. Well, what's in Utah? Mormons. I think Don's father was probably a Mormon too. but I don't know this to be fact. But anyway, so Nana's Angel, or I think that's her name, had posted that interview. Now, she said that I had interviewed Clydo, and that was incorrect. The interview was in my video, but, and I can't ever remember the name of this channel. It's WCIA or something like that. Anyway, they look at pictures for a long time, and they see things that I don't see. She did the interview, and she didn't ask very good questions, and she was kind of rude to Clydo Trent, but there was some valuable information that came out of that, and I suggest you go watch that video. I will put the link in the description. Not very many people saw it, and I just couldn't get anybody interested in it, and I thought it was very interesting because it revealed that when Defects came and took the boys, number one, Clyda Trent was already in town. Dawn wanted her to come over, and she ended up taking the boys for the first night because Defects didn't have anywhere to put the boys. So she kept them the first night. And then I guess they found them somewhere to go the next day, and eventually she went back to Utah. She used to live in Kingsport, but she has since moved to Utah. Now, I was always under the understanding that Candace took care of Dawn's mom when she was sick and dying. But I read Dawn's mom's obituary, and it says that Clyda took care of her. Also, what it said, and here's the shocker for me, and maybe y'all all know this, but I didn't know. I thought Dawn had one sister, by his mother. But apparently, he has two sisters by his mother. One is Sonia, and the other one is Heidi. Now, I have forever been trying to find a connection between the Sherfys and the Lawsons, because my main theory is Donald Sherfy Jr. And I didn't understand why. It was almost like Ronnie Lawson purposely avoided him, because I'm sure he knew about it. I mean, we're not talking, 4 million residents there, and that's a pretty serious crime, 1,000 images of PORN, especially child PORN. But apparently they hadn't even interviewed him. I've always felt like Ronnie Lawson has been covering for somebody, because they ain't even trying to find Summer. I see no effort. I mean, they did the first initial search, and, they kind of had to do that. And then they did one little other search after that, I think, for 2 days, and that's it. There's no, they're not working on it. There's no, what's the word I want to use? Task force. There's no group of people sitting down every day trying to figure it out. They got one little old Detective Pruitt who won't even return a phone call. You could call and tell him you found Summer, and if it was after 7 o'clock p.m., well, they're not going to wake up their employees and bother them for no Amber Alert child. No, they don't do that. Seriously, cracking cases had a child that had an Amber Alert on her come into their life, and they called Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, and they said they just weren't going to bother their detectives after hours. They could call back Monday because it was a Friday. On an Amber Alert? Oh, come on. But anyway, so, I don't think that it's me being a conspiracy theorist or me wild speculation that they're not trying to find Summer. Why? So go back to Heidi. Her name is Heidi Tate at the time of Karen's passing. You know what her name is now? Heidi Tate Lawson. Now, I don't know how or what Lawson she's married to, but she does live in Tennessee. And, I'm pretty sure in that area, Hawkins County, Kingsport, Rogersville, that probably if your last name is Lawson, you're related to every other Lawson. So, right now, I get a headache every time I try and figure out their family trees. Because these people are having 10, 12, 15 kids. You honestly need like a 12 by 12 chalkboard to start looking. Ooh, what is that? Oh my God, what is that? Shit. Scary. I hope it's a deer. It's something. Ah! Okay. Someone please help me figure out what Lawson she is married to. She looks like Dawn. She got blonde hair, blue eyes like Dawn. I think she's 53. There are several Heidi Tates, but in Tennessee, but this one has got to be it because she's the only one that's the right age, that resembles Dawn, that lives in the Kingsport, Rogersville area, and she's got a, I was always wondered how Sonia could afford to go to Paris, but I was looking at it, went to some website and it told how big her house was, and it was like 4,000 or 5,000 square feet, so she must be doing well. What the hell is that? Oh, I'm gonna put my feet up. But that would be explain a lot. If I always thought that Ronnie would be related to the suspect, and maybe he is actually, but what if he's in on and putting somewhere else? Because Nana Patty had brought up, hi Nana Patty, isn't that from that weird rambling woman that wants adults to call her mommy? No. Nana's Angels thinks that Clyda Trent has Summer. And I'm going to tell you, the Mormon church, if they wanted to hide a child, they could hide a child and wouldn't nobody find her. They are very secretive. They are very clannish, and especially the fundamentalists. Maybe Candace doesn't know. Maybe Dawn and Clyda set it up, because I don't think that Clyda and Karen Goad cared much for Candace. I really don't. Especially being Mormon women, because Candace isn't really, Mormon women tend, they wear the dresses and they don't talk back to their husbands, and they most certainly don't drink and cuss and smoke and do all the crazy things that Candace does. I also always thought that maybe Candace and her mother put Summer somewhere. But wouldn't it be strange if Dawn was actually the one and Candace has no idea? Because we always think that Candace knows and Dawn has no idea. But what if Dawn knows and Candace has no idea? I mean, Summer could be in Utah somewhere and we would never know. But, now, I know Mary went and looked for her, but I don't think that search was all inclusive. Okay, what do y'all think about this? I just want to talk about it. Let me know if you're interested. We'll do a live and talk about it. I don't have a problem with speculation. I don't have a problem with opinions or ideas and all this. How do I say this nicely? Where, we want to decide who gets to have a channel and who doesn't, and there's a certain etiquette that you have to go through to have a channel, and you need to be a card carrying, I don't know what I guess you need a college degree, which I have one, so but there's a certain group that wants to censor people and thinks that you should have credentials to have a channel, and that people shouldn't speculate and it's hurting families and blah blah blah. Well, you know what? I don't think a lot of families are actually getting on YouTube that's had a victim of a crime or lost a loved one. I don't really think they're hanging on YouTube. And we have to get to a point where we're a little bit tougher. If I'm watching something and it upsets me, I shut it off. I don't know why, nobody's holding a gun to anybody's head to watch something. So I don't get this. So, we need to, start cracking down on these content creators who are damaging the cases and harassing the families. It's against YouTube policies to harass anybody, bully anybody, stalk anybody, defamation. If you're doing something illegal or against terms of service, yes, you should have to give up your channel. You should not be allowed a channel. But people have been talking about true crime for decades and decades. There's nothing wrong with speculation and discussing it. It's socializing. And giving people money is voluntary. You don't have to do it. No, I don't see a lot of people, even if someone just has a channel because they want money, let's say. They only get on YouTube and talk about summer because they want money. Because they need money, because they don't have a job, they can't pay their bills or whatever. If they're fulfilling someone who is lonely or doesn't have any friends or, is into true crime, what's it to anybody? It's their money. They can spend it how they want. I'm not into censorship or that these smart people will need to tell me who I can watch because they're so much smarter than me. I'm pretty smart. I have a disguise. Southern accent is part of it. Because I'm telling you, the minute you open your mouth and you have a Southern accent, people are going to treat you like you're stupid. I don't base intelligence on education. I know a lot of people that are very simple people that are very, very smart and taught me way more than my college degree did. But I don't need anybody telling me or thinking for me or censoring who I can watch and who I don't. And they seem to have this, like they're the, oh, y'all are just too stupid to think for yourself, so we have to do it for you. No, we're not. Southern people have to stick together because we're not stupid. And I'm going to tell you, if The Walking Dead did come true, which is one of my favorite shows because they film it right down the street, me and my kids would survive. I don't think Scientific Skeptic would be surviving very, very much. Nope, and his shirt's ugly too. All right, but I like him. I like him as a person. I just think he's kind of getting his head's getting a little big because I appreciate him calling content creators who are like turning the light on to people who are fake and pretend to be a certain way. I appreciate that. Now you've given me the information. I can decide whether I want to watch them or not. I don't need you to shame me if I continue to watch them, and I don't need you to, pass laws that prohibit some people from getting a channel because they don't meet your educational and moral standards. I have my own moral standards, and I will go by those. Thank you. All right. That's all I have to say. I'm probably going to cut most of this video out because I'm just rambling out here in the dark and I'm scared to death, but I'm going back in the house. Okay, love you. Bye.